Thank you very much. All the board members are here, well represented, and the telecoms providers are also here waiting to hear you. And of course, we have you, our special guests, especially because you are the ones that keep the telecoms companies in business. I would like to invite the Executive Vice Chairman to do our special welcome this 10th anniversary.
I am delighted to welcome you all to this forum for the double celebration of the 8th anniversary of Telecom Consumer Parliament and the 10th year of the Telecom revolution in Nigeria. It is my expectation that this forum will provide a veritable opportunity for us to look at our industry and be able to learn a lesson from the three phases of the growth. By this, I mean we will look at the present, X-ray the past, and project into the future. The industry is in constant growth, and we need to have a checklist as we go along. Otherwise, we get carried away by momentary achievements. There is a part of telecom history that people wish we forget. The part is not salutary. When people have to queue to make or receive international calls. Prior to 2001, a period telecom historians now refer to the pre-GSM era, the industry was characterized by an incumbent operator and a few others with regional operations. An attempt was made to introduce analog mobile service by the then incumbent operator Nitel, but the spread was very limited and provided the aspirations of Nigerians with little succor. The industry was capable of responding well to the yearnings. The industry was incapable of responding well to the yearnings of the populace to have affordable, efficient, and high-quality telephone service in the country. Phones were literally decreed out of the shopping list of the ordinary folks, as only about 400,000 lines and another 25,000 analog mobile lines were available to a population of over 120 million, putting us in the league of Mongolia and Afghanistan, countries that were either permanently in starve or disadvantaged by nature. One day, the story changed. In realization of the changes in global economy, there was full deregulation of the industry in Nigeria, which paved the way for other service providers to come into the sector. The NCC, in fulfillment of the mandate by the Telecoms Act, has ensured that Nigerians have access to telephone services at affordable prices and with the best quality possible. However, we are not unaware of the challenges which such rapid growth has visited on the industry. The good news is that the Commission is providing regulatory intervention to curtail such challenges. The main challenge has been that of quality of service that has not reached the envisaged level of efficiency. Erratic power supply, vandalization of telecom infrastructure, lack of basic infrastructure, high level of insecurity, multiple taxation, multiple regulation, militancy, all these collectively affect expected performance from the industry. The Commission has issued regulatory directions to the industry to ensure stakeholders keep to the rule. There have been numerous guidelines on different services provided by service providers, spread of customer care centers, threshold of helplines by service providers, etc. What is paramount to us at NCC is to have a telecom industry that is robust, vibrant, and efficient. which will be an impetus for greater economic development of the country. We are trying to promote an industry that will fully support Mr. President's transformation agenda. We have also set our eyes on mobile banking, while the next big thing coming is the broadband initiative. Broadband is central to the development of any country, and the Nigerian government is ready to promote the growth in order to take voice and data access to all ends of the country. We are committed to the growth and total transformation of the industry. It is my belief that in the next 10 years, there will be adequate broadband facilities available in this country, more investments, more revenue to government, social security, more employment, and improvement in socio-economic infrastructure that will be a strong foundation upon which a viable telecom service will be built for the future. Let me again thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of this celebration. We pray for more moments like this. Thank you and God bless.
So it's my pleasure to invite our special speaker today and our special guest and our keynote speaker, Engineer Dr. Ernest Ndukwe. He is going to be speaking about the prospects and challenges of the past 10 years of revolution in Nigeria. He should know he was vice chairman for a long time, and he was one of the people Nigerians were biting their head off. You're not doing enough. Wield the stick at these people. Make them do what they should do. So he was caught in the middle for a long time. So he would know what the challenges are and probably project into the future. Can we applaud once again Dr. Engineer Ndukwe?
Thank you for this opportunity. And I would like to start by saying that the groundwork for the telecom revolution can be said to have commenced in 1992 with the enactment of Decree 75 of that year and the subsequent inauguration of the board of the Nigerian Communications Commission in 1993. Unfortunately, that first board didn't last very long and was sacked in 1994. It was, in fact, a military regime. However, it was actually due to this fact that the nation was under a military government during the first 7 years of its life. During the first 7 years of the life of the Commission, that the Commission did not have the necessary freedom to reach its full potential. The rules of the game were not clear, and the regulatory body that was to act as a referee neither had the autonomy or the resources to guarantee a predictable marketplace for potential investors. Of course, investment always goes where it's needed, and the investors kept away. However, the Obasanjo regime that came on board in May 1999 regarded the telecom sector as a priority sector and proceeded to reinstate and inaugurate a 10-member board of the Commission in April 2000. The board of the Commission from inception worked assiduously to build the regulatory structures required for the enhanced private sector participation. New and competent staff were selected and employed to join those that were there already. Salary structures were revised to ensure that the Commission was able to attract and retain quality manpower. Consultants were engaged for some critical assignments. Licensing processes were embarked upon in a most transparent manner, and timely network rollout by the licensed companies were facilitated by the Commission. Ground rules for interconnection were established, and new entrants were protected from incumbent dominant operators. The important provision was that interconnection must not be denied any operator duly licensed by the Commission. The confidence of the lending financial institutions was enhanced. National Telecom policy was revised and published in year 2000, and a new communications law enacted in 2003. Several regulations and guidelines were also enacted and published for the guidance of the industry. All these laid the foundation for the decade of telecom revolution between 2001 and 2011. Let me talk about another revolution, which I call the regulatory revolution. The NCC has been widely acknowledged as a model telecommunications regulatory institution in Africa, and in the past years played host to various representatives from African telecom regulatory authorities on study tours. This is because of the landmark regulatory enactments and actions that characterized the last decade. In January 2001, as the EVC had said, the Commission conducted an auction for digital mobile licenses. This auction was acclaimed locally and internationally as one of the best in the world, thanks to the high level of transparency exhibited during the exercise. The auction subsequently brought about the emergence of 3 mobile networks: Econet Wireless, now Airtel, MTN Communications Nigeria, and MTEL, a subsidiary of the incumbent national operator, the Nigerian Telecommunications Limited. In 2002, a 4th digital mobile license was won by Globacom through another transparent process for a 2nd national carrier license, which included the mobile license. It is instructive to note that before the GSM services were launched by MTN and Econet in 2001, companies such as Multilinks, Intercellular, had launched commercial services based on CDMA technology. We have therefore had a telecom revolution that has seen the CDMA technology develop side by side with the GSM technology in Nigeria. And just as Nigeria currently has the highest number of GSM lines on the continent, it is also true that Nigeria has the largest number of CDMA connections on the continent of Africa. The transparent manner with which the Commission handled the DML process gave the impetus for other licensing auctions that followed. These include the 2nd national operator, the fixed wireless access services licenses that were granted on regional basis, the unified access service licenses, as well as the 3G licenses, which were granted to 4 companies. To further increase competition, a 5th mobile license was awarded to Emerging Market Telecom Services Limited, operating today as Etisalat. This was in 2004. Later in 2008, Earlier in 2007, some spectrum slots in the 900 megahertz were offered to the market and was won by a new company then called Visafone. Visafone subsequently bought into other licenses and today is a major operator in the CDMA space. This was also followed in 2009 by another spectrum licensing process for spectrum in the 2.3 gigahertz band, which were won subsequently by two companies, Spectranet and Mobitel. Through the award of these licenses, the Commission facilitated phenomenal expansion of telephone lines in Nigeria. My next topic is tariff revolution. The opening of the market to competition in all segments of industry resulted in major drop in prices of telecom services. Pre-2001, the cost of subscription to MTEL analog mobile service was over 60,000 per line, if you can get one. In fact, some people paid as much as 100,000. There was also a time when to get a fixed wireless line in Nigeria, people paid as much as 250,000 naira for line. In 2001, the GSM subscription started with a price of 20,000 naira per line. Today, the figure has fallen to almost zero. The tariff on calls on GSM network was as high as 50 naira per minute. Today, a call to any network can be made for lower than 12 naira per minute, and the drop has still continued. And this 12 naira per minute even subsists for calls to international destinations. Although it does not get involved in retail price determination, the Commission constantly monitors prices at which operators offer their services to the public. The Commission, however, intervened as necessary in determining interconnect rates for the industry once there was a need to do so. The combined effort of the three interconnect rate determinations made in 2004, 2006, 2009 was a reduction of the mobile termination rate from as high as 30 naira to 18 naira per minute in 2003 to 11 naira 40 kobo per minute in 2006. The Commission also introduced asymmetric interconnection rate regime for the first time in 2009 with 8 naira 20 kobo per minute and 11 naira 40 kobo per minute. The reviews in interconnect rates have generally enabled operators to reduce retail tariffs for calls and also increase competition among the operating companies. It also prevented the possibility of any big company trying to dominate the market. The Commission had implemented the policy of licensing competitive operators in all segments of the market as a way of improving competition and maintaining optimum call tariff. Today, Nigerian ICT market remains perhaps the most competitive market in Africa, with service providers competing for market share. On future prospects and challenges, I'd like to say that for the future and to sustain the progress made in the industry, it will be critical for government to continue to maintain stability in the policy and regulatory space. The high investment levels that have been attained in the sector was not because Nigeria suddenly became one of the most desired investment destinations in Africa, or because it suddenly developed a large population. Nigeria has always had a large population, even in the 50s and the 60s, and the 70s and the 80s. But it was largely because of the stable policy and regulatory regime that the industry enjoyed since 2000. And I like to advocate that this must be maintained. It is also important to maintain the political, financial independence of regulatory institutions. Regulators need to be able to regulate market fairly and earn the confidence of investors, consumers, and other stakeholders. Also, Nigeria must strive to maintain an operating environment that is conducive to attracting investment by avoiding actions that can constitute a disincentive to investment. The telecom sector is very capital intensive and therefore must continue to encourage timely network expansion. We also must continue to encourage improvement in the quality of service, and we also must continue to encourage and ensure national coverage and make sure that telecom services reach all parts of the country. So emphasis must be on ensuring an attractive operating environment. There is also need for efficient management of the national resources, especially spectrum, including timely availability of frequencies to support new technologies. I had said it before that spectrum is the oxygen that sustains the wireless ecosystem. We must encourage especially existing operators to have the necessary frequencies that they need to expand their services, especially as we look towards the era of a boom in broadband deployment. Nigeria still needs to grow her teledensity figure from the current level of about 66% to over 100% to achieve the Vision 2020 targets for national development. I also wish to add that USPF will no doubt have a critical role to play in extending services, especially broadband services, to the rural communities in our country and to the those who are not able to afford these services when they're expensive. We must reach all parts of the country with both voice and data carrying infrastructure. It is instructive to know that today over 70 countries in the world have passed the 100% teledensity mark. Nigeria should be a member of that league. For me, ladies and gentlemen, a major source of excitement that point to the fact that Africa is on the threshold of major economic boom is the fact that there are currently 11 major submarine optic fiber cables in Africa, from SEAS, SAT3, SAFE, SEACOM, TEAMS, EASY, Lion, Lion 2, GLOW 1, Main 1, WAX, ACE, and so on. 5 of them are on the West African coast of the continent and are all live except for the 5th one, which is the ACE, which is projected to be ready to go live by mid-2012. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the progress recorded in the telecom sector within the last decade has improved the nation's ICT ranking in the world. This translated to the boom that has been associated with the sector in the last 10 years. This trend must be sustained as we push on to attain over 100% teledensity as a nation, and also with high-speed broadband services widely available within the reach of everyone in the near future. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. God bless you.
We have heard it from the horse's mouth. The midwife of the revolution, Engineer Ernest Ndukwe, had spoken. I'm going straight to Wale Goodluck MTN, the challenges.
Thank you very much. Again, let me also say congratulations to the NCC and to all the parliamentarians. It's been a long journey. I think it's also been, there are times when the journey has been painful. There are times when the journey has been very good. And I think what we're doing here today is a testimony to the effort that we have all put in, both at the regulator, at the legislature, the parliamentarians, and of course the operators. Our challenges in Nigeria as operators are not very different from challenges in other parts of the world. It's the same problems that we have here that we have in other parts of sub-Saharan Africa. It's the same problems that we have in India, that we have in several other parts of the world. I think that after 10 years, I think what is more important for our parliamentarians to hear is not necessarily our day-to-day challenges, but what we are doing as operators to resolve those challenges and provide a quality of service and thank you very much, and provide a quality of service that will meet and exceed all your expectations. Our industry is a bit more temperamental than most industries. If I use the simple example of power, if power goes at the Nigerian Breweries Brewery in Igomu today for 10 days or for 5 hours, the consumer drinking beer in a restaurant doesn't know. He doesn't feel it. If I lose power at my switch in Ikoyi, the subscribers in southwest Nigeria, and I'm sure all over Nigeria, will know immediately. So this is an industry that is extremely temperamental. It needs a lot of servicing. We are working assiduously to deliver these services. But there are challenges. A lot of the challenges that we're looking at today, power, we have been able to solve to an extent with the provision of generators. It makes operating very expensive. It's not the best friend of the environment, but we're able to provide a service.
I will come to Engineer Titi Omoetu. What are those things that have been challenges to companies under your umbrella?
Although what you can call the problems of the country, but what makes our own problem unique is that while we have taken the option of liberalization to solve the problem of our industry, we have not been able to sell the same idea to the other service sectors that are supposed to support what input that we have done in the industry. The energy sector, for example, the aviation sector, for example, these are the major sectors that started transforming. At the time, we also transformed. But while we opted for liberalization, the other two did not immediately. Today, what we have proved is that liberalization has worked. The paper presented by Engineer Ndukwe has said all that there is to say in terms of what we have done. What question Mr. Gbeche asked is, what is it that we have not done? And I think that those are the areas we should concentrate on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Mwetu. A round of applause for him, please. Sir, your comment on this issue.
I'd like to stand on existing protocol and courtesies, but just permit me, sir, to recognize the royal fathers who have just come in. Kabi Esio, Kadu Pelori, Kibata Pelese. On the challenges of the industry, telecom is not isolated from the social problems we face as a country. And therefore, our problems are same problems like you will find in other sectors of the economy, be it power, be it security, be it road infrastructure and all that. What is peculiar to us is that we are not an extractive industry. We are not like the oil industries that goes to take natural resources and have to pay back to the land. We are service providers. Unfortunately, those who should govern us, they are interpreting our role as extractive, and therefore putting rules and regulations, laws and tax demand on us as if we are an extractive industry. This is a problem. It's a problem because in some states of the Federation, operators are not allowed access to their sites due to supposed non-payment of levies and local taxes. In some states of the Federation, agencies of government go to telecom sites to switch off those stations without regard to quality of service, without recourse to the regulator, without respect for the parliamentarians who are here, without respect for the subscribers and all that. All of these are the problems and challenges that we face as an industry. And that leads me to what are the prospects and the problems. The prospect is good, provided we're able to sustain what we have done, and provided we're able to develop and stabilize what we have done. Today, the infrastructure is not protected. I recall that in the days of NITEL and NEPA, those days, there are laws and decrees to protect the infrastructure. Today, there is nothing exclusive to protect telecom infrastructure. So this allows everyone, even including landlords, to go and shut down telecom sites. In the days of NITEL, who dare go to shut down an exchange of NITEL? In the days of MTEL, in the early days, who dare go to shut down a cell site of MTEL? Because there are rules and regulations and laws protecting the infrastructure. Today, we are left to act on our own, and the impact of this is the ability to provide uninterrupted service to the public.
Thank you very much. We have heard so much about these problems, especially the issue of power, poor infrastructure, general infrastructure in the country. But we are coming back to the operators now, the service providers. What specific assurance are you giving us?
Thank you. I think the fundamental thing is ensuring quality of network, which is the biggest challenge in this country today. From the operators that we see is quality of service in terms of zero call drops, an absolute free, without congestion network, point number one. Second thing that we are doing is giving you a touch feel experience zones at every possible points across the length and breadth of the country through our shops. We also have an additional responsibility as CDMA operators who also do not only sell services but also service and sell you the devices. So in the ecosystem, the device plays a very major role for the consumer and the customer. So we not only ensure that we give you quality service as far as the service aspect of telecom is concerned, but including managing the device, the servicing, and the quality of service on devices that we offer. We constantly have forums, the customer forums across the country, and we take feedbacks and always benchmark the best quality service and the customer experience besides the price, which is the most critical part for an average Nigerian in this country. So we think these are the fundamental things which we do. And more important, every employee in the organization is driven towards customers. So I think ownership of customer is what we build in our organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Visaphone. I'm going to turn to Glo to tell us in specific terms, what assurance are you giving us?
Definitely, we will continue, and I am sure I have the feedback of my chairman, Mr. Mike Adenuga, to continue the service delivery in this country. There is no doubt that we will deliver throughout Nigeria. First of all, of course, we will improve our network. We will roll out more. Then, of course, we are already in the process of employing by Globacom, no one else, our own staff on our payroll, not outsourcing whatsoever. So we are actually adding on at least 1,000 people in our customer care, which of course give a good job opportunity for all the young people in Nigeria. We are expanding across. We are opening our Glow Zone franchise, which means we give job opportunity to people out in the country. They're going to be our franchise, doing business on behalf of us. We are going to launch in the next year around 300 of those, just to make life easier for our customers. So we will cover all the states across. So there is no more need to travel for hours. You will probably have a very short distance to do your business with Globacom. And of course, our service delivery, when it comes to talk time, answering calls and all this, is going to improve. And not to forget, we will do exceptional promos for the Nigerian people, because it's a Nigerian company and we will do lots of things for the Nigerian people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. I'm going to invite to this podium respectfully the very hardworking Dr. Eugene Jua, the Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC. Please, a round of applause for Engineer Jua. Sir, why do we have high interconnect rate?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and I stand on existing protocol. Interconnect rates are really wholesale rates for traffic. That is the exchange between the operators. And then when the subscriber makes the calls, the charges there are the retail charges. What has happened in Nigeria is that while the wholesale prices, that's the interconnect prices, have been slowly going down, we have not seen a consistent and significant, pass over to the consumers. That means that if we continue lowering the wholesale prices, the interconnect prices, what we are just doing is that we are increasing the profit margin of the operators. It's true that prices have been coming down, but it has not come down in a very convenient way. For example, if we want really to show that prices have come down, the operators will decree a certain price for the that is the prepaid people, because it's the prepaid is more than 95% of Nigerians. They will say that the prepaid, if you buy a voucher and you are a prepaid subscriber, the prices will be 12 naira a minute. We challenge them to do that. If they don't do that and only provide a certain contraption that, if you dial this line, then, for 4 calls, for 8 calls, your price at 12 naira a minute, is not really lowering prices. So I challenge the operators to lower prices in a very visible way, and then we will lower the interconnect rates. Thank you very much.
A resounding ovation for him, please. We have come to the end of this session, the discussion session of this program. It's been wonderful talking with everyone here.
We have awards to be given out today, and we also have gifts from some telecom providers for our special people who are here today.
Very special thank you to MTN for presenting us with 12 wheelchairs and 12 crutches. It's nice to know that even those facing all kinds of challenges are being taken care of by the service providers as well as NCC. So I'd like to invite the President of the Spinal Cord Injuries Association of Nigeria, Mr. Obioha Ononugbu. Mr. Obioha Ononugbu, President, Spinal Cord Injuries Association of Nigeria, to pick up these gifts.
For the 10 years where GSM don't dey Nigeria, well, to me, the thing don't help us well. Because before, now letter writing, now they use pass messages for our people for village. But now, a very simple thing. You go just dial number, then people where you want to talk to, you go just associate with them. Well, the challenges where they face be say, network failures, they do well. And too much tariff. Sometimes when you load card, you know go talk reach what you want talk, then the money go finish. So now the challenges where they face be that. Make government, make them help us load the money, and make them make network, make it a day stable, so that anytime when you want talk, you're not going to get failure problem, a network problem, I mean to say.
GSM has been 10 years in Nigeria now, and so far so good. I wouldn't say it's very bad, because before now there have never been means of communication in a very short time with people. We've been used to writing of letters and so many other things like that. But when you compare it with the other countries, just more civilized country than Nigeria, not third world country, you see that GSM is doing better because of their services. Like a friend that just returned from UK recently, he said he operated Wi-Fi free, and that actually helped him to connect people faster and better and without paying so much. But that still boils down to the Nigerian economy, because if you look at it, you see that things are not adequately put in position. Like power, it has always been the reasons why most of all these things are not working perfectly. Because I know very well that if NEPA is actually working very well, that we'll see that so many costs of operation and other things will definitely fall down. They should look at the ways in which they can actually benefit the Nigerians more, while since they know that, okay, we are the one that actually made them to exist. Without us, they are nowhere.
Telecommunication in Nigeria for the past 10 years has been wonderful from my own assessment. That is one thing Obasanjo have done for this country that, we Nigerians are grateful for. At least the risk of, accidents on road, people traveling to go to the village to live. That's one thing you can just sit here and talk to somebody abroad, talk to somebody anywhere, and the person gets that message. It reduces the risk of road accidents and some other things. This is their network problem. You're calling somebody, like for example, I want to call my friend Oluchi, and you see a malam answer the call from the other end. It has caused so many problems for some home. Because if you have a husband that does not understand and he calls you and a boki or any man answers it, you have a question to answer. Because he will not understand, especially for these ones living abroad. They will not understand that there is something they call line jamming. You understand? So that's what I think. They should, reduce the tariff, what they charge, especially these their caller tunes. They have to ask you first before they take 50 naira from you. Because there's something they did. I had 100 naira in my phone. The next thing I wanted to make out, they took the 100 naira. It's annoying now. You ask me if I still want the caller tune to be repeated. If I say no, I will delete. You don't just do it. You don't just take my money from my phone just like that.
My names are Ajia Iyabode Moji Dange Majopaja General of Lagos Island Market. We want a situation whereby there will be reduction in the rate as per tariff.
My name is Oludare Onosoya. Well, my input is just about internet speed. And what are you doing for enterprise development?
My name is Jide Benson. What efforts, if any, are you making to lobby the government or to make presentations to them as to how we can solve our energy problems?
My name is Ababa Owo. I represent Telstrat Projects as a national coordinator. The issue of several promotions that have been done, the point is that more often time than not, most of your promos fall short of some legal lapses. You need to have your legal department review a lot of your write-up before you send it in. Let me give you an instant. You said if you subscribe for the 25 naira stuff, it lasts you for that day. If you put it at 11:34, that means by 12 noon it's gone. It's supposed to last for 24 hours. We actually corrected that where you had to relate with you that you should make it to last for 24 hours to last, once it's 12 noon. MTN, it is very wrong. You cannot use the issue of health, the prime issue of health, to joke. You're asking people to call 191 through one advert or promo you're doing to be charged 80 naira. It is wrong. You're placing money over the premium of health.
I will start with Visa Phone. They raised those three issues, so address them very quickly in 1 minute.
I think the issue raised was with respect to the 24-hour notification of ensuring the daily naira that they spend is spent and not at 12 o'clock midnight. I think thank you very much for that feedback. Right? I'm sure I'm not trying to defend here, but I have taken down as you were speaking. I don't know where the gentleman is in this crowd, but as you were speaking, we've taken down your number and we need to just check back and come back. First of all, I can assure you that you will be not only refunded for that disconnect of your service, but also been a promo to ensure that you're satisfied to have raised this query. Not only have you raised a query for yourself, but what you have done is in fact ensure that other consumers and other customers of Visa Phone, in case they are facing the same problem, are taken care of. So we really welcome such suggestions and value additions to the networks. Thank you.
I don't think there's any question addressed to us, but there are some general questions addressed to the industry on security and energy. Jide, we feel you. Thank God you understand what you're talking about. When they talked about social miscreants, you need to understand the magnitude of that. You know that you cannot deliver a generator to a base station anywhere in the country without paying a toll. The toll is not just minimal charge. A lot of money is being called. It's so serious. Now, on what operators have done, consistently from the inception of the national network, we have continued to make a case for the National Assembly to declare telecom equipment as critical national infrastructure so that they can be protected. Because when we're talking about quality of service, it is so many reasons. There are so many reasons for quality of service, which includes vandalization, which includes refusal of networks to even deliver the diesel. That's the problems we're having with the social miscreants. I won't call them area boys again. Is also part of it. So if you declare telecom equipment as critical national infrastructure, then there will be protection from government. There will be the offenses. If you now go to a telecom equipment and vandalize it, you face penalties. So that will begin to discourage people from attacking those. So there has been, I'm glad that the chairman of the communication committee of the Senate is here, and also the House. We please tell you to take this back to the House. We will still be coming to you to continue to make this case for this intervention. The same thing goes for energy. On internet speed, can I go? Okay, on internet speed, yes, we appreciate that it is slow, but if you listen to the EVC's delivery, you will see that yes, we have about 5 to 10 cables landing in Nigeria, but the problem we have is how to distribute that to inland, how to get it to the homes. Luckily, NCC has a new broadband policy which we expect to work shortly. Maybe this is not the forum to talk about it, but they have an open access model which the EVC has continually talked about. We are hoping that when that model kicks in, we can start doing broadband at the speed of light. Reduction in tariffs. This is very dear to us. Please, I need us to tell ourselves the truth. Tariffs in telecoms have come down. It is a process. After all, when the operation started, we were paying 50 naira for a minute. Now you pay 25 kobo. You pay 12 kobo. You make calls at 9 kobo to 9 naira for international calls. It is a gradual process.
Thank you. Globacom wants to make some comments before we round up here today at this section.
I think the gentleman had a question about what is Globacom doing about power. And it's a good opportunity today because I have seen there is lots of people from the senator here. So I'm pleading with them to help us to do something about the power situation. And as a matter of fact, Globacom is actually in the process of putting up some of the base station with a solar panel to see if that one will work. So we are trying our level best to do something about the power situation. And when it comes to enterprise, we are working on that as well. And as you know, the internet, we have our own submarine cable from UK going to Nigeria. So the cost of the internet will go down very much. Thank you very much.
At this point in time, I must take the vote of thanks. I would like to invite Mary Uduma Mrs., who is the Director for Consumer Affairs Bureau.
Standing on the existing protocols, I want to say that we are very, very grateful that you all made it to this celebration. Thank you very much.